In recent days, everyone is talking about one name, Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein.
But behind the scenes, there are horrifying details that some people are trying to hide. We suggest you stay with us until the end, because with each passing second of this video, you will be more shocked. Jeffrey Edward Epstein. This person's name has been heard by most of us through news and social media in recent days. However, this horrifying case is not limited to recent times, and with the revelation of the names of many well-known individuals involved in this case, it has once again become the talk of the town. To better understand this subject, we need to see who this demonic person is. Jeffrey Epstein was born on January 20th, 1953, in a poor Jewish family in New York, USA. It may be hard to believe, but he spent some time teaching mathematics without receiving a university degree. However, he was expelled from Dalton School due to complaints from some female students about his inappropriate behavior. It can be said that he was a mathematical and computational genius. He was quickly discovered by an investment firm called Bear Stearns, which seeks out individuals with this kind of genius and poverty. He excelled in economic activities and securities trading to the extent that he could be called a Wall Street wolf. However, Jeffrey's goal was not simply to become a regular wealthy person. He wanted to rule the American economy. After rumors of fraud and theft from Bear Stearns, he was fired, and in 1987, the famous American fraudster and multi-billionaire Stephen Hoffenberg hired him at Tower Financial Corporation, aware of the rumors surrounding him regarding theft in his own company. Because Hoffenberg exactly needed this type of fraud from Jeffrey, they collaborated to design a Ponzi scheme, or in simpler terms, a pyramid scheme, and achieved incredible income by deceiving people with unbelievable profits.
I met Jeff Epstein in the 80s after he was thrown out of Bear Stearns. He has credentials on Wall Street, and he's loaded with energy, but his moral compass is upside down. Jeffrey Epstein had cheated and stolen money on his expense account. He definitely appealed to us because we were running a Ponzi scheme.
Thanks to Hoffenberg and his frauds, Jeffrey amassed a substantial fortune and founded his brokerage firm in 1988. His fame as a successful broker was so great in complex financial circles that American billionaires would make time to meet and collaborate with him. One of these multi-billionaires who changed Jeffrey Epstein's fate and life was named Les Wexner. Les Wexner, the CEO and owner of the L Brands Holding, which includes brands like Victoria's Secret and Abercrombie and Fitch, among many other subsidiary companies. Les Wexner was so infatuated with Jeffrey Epstein that he entrusted the management of his vast wealth to him, including the management and selection of famous Victoria's Secret models. He even gifted him a $100 million mansion. Until now, all of Wall Street was in the hands of Jeffrey Epstein, and his next target was politicians and Hollywood stars. The key to entering this glamorous world was a woman named Ghislaine Maxwell. The dark curtain of Epstein's life begins exactly from this point. Ghislaine played a role in introducing Jeffrey to Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, and hundreds of Hollywood stars. They quickly accepted him among themselves. Even Donald Trump, in an interview about Epstein, says he has known Jeffrey for over 15 years and that he is an extraordinary person. He also shares his great interest in young and beautiful women just like himself. In 1994, Ghislaine began helping Jeffrey find underage girls. She would select these girls from various places and prepare them for a depraved world by giving them false promises and creating a friendship with her boyfriend. One of the first victims of this couple was a 16-year-old girl named Annie Farmer. Ghislaine deceived her with promises such as Jeffrey being able to provide her with a scholarship to the best universities in America and convinced her to live with them in a secluded yet luxurious estate in New Mexico. Annie usually spent most of her time on this ranch with Ghislaine and was busy receiving massage training for Jeffrey. After a while, the doors opened to other famous guests for massages in the Emirates, and one of these individuals was Prince Andrew, the second son of Queen Elizabeth. You can truly understand the audacity of this person in this interview.
You've seen the photo?
I've seen the photograph.
How do you explain that?
Oh, it's definitely me. I mean, that's a picture of me. It's not a picture of, I don't believe it's a picture of me in London, because when I go out in London, I wear a suit and a tie.
After years of unfulfilled promises, one day Annie Farmer went to the police and filed a complaint about the events at the New Mexico ranch involving Epstein and Ghislaine. However, the police easily ignored this matter because the person in question was one of the wealthiest and most influential individuals in America. The local police stood without solid reasons. They had no leverage against him. The fruitlessness of this complaint made Epstein more greedy and reckless. He temporarily ceased his deviant actions, but he soon resumed the hunt. However, this time, it was not meant to remain secretive and calm. In 1998, Jeffrey Epstein purchased the island of Little St. James in the Caribbean Sea for $8 million. I quipped it, and acquired a private jet named the Lolita Express for transporting guests, the nature of which you will understand by searching its meaning. He entered another stage of his terrifying and nauseating business. According to a recently declassified 980-page document, you will see a list of customer names that will leave you astonished. But what led to the exposure of this island and the Palm Beach villa in Florida and their clients?
Hello. Hi, how are you? I'm good. It was an incident that occurred maybe like three and a half weeks ago with one of my stepdaughters. Wednesday at school, we got into a fight and she had over $300 on her. So after asking her what was going on, found out that ended up being that they went to Palm Beach to a gentleman's house and they start off by giving this gentleman a massage. If he pays them, if he likes them and he thinks that they're pretty enough, he keeps them around to do other things.
In 2006, during a fight between two 16-year-old girls at Royal Palm Beach High School in Florida, $300 in cash was found in one of their bags. Further investigation by school officials revealed that these girls and many others from the school were receiving money in exchange for providing massages to middle-aged men at Jeffrey Epstein's house. It was later discovered that this school was one of the main hunting grounds for Ghislaine. With the police becoming involved in the matter, one of these girls finally agreed to testify against Epstein.
I appreciate you coming down to talk to me. How did you meet Mr. Epstein?
They're friends. Like 2 years ago or so.
You were 17 then? What is it that you were told you would have to do?
Give him a massage.
Okay. During the massage, did he,
Yes.
According to the testimony of this girl, who was only 17 at the time, Jeffrey had demands other than massages from them. As the news spread to more girls and families, the Florida prosecutor initiated an investigation into Jeffrey Epstein's villa and island with a crucial insider witness.
What can you tell me about that?
He has a lot of masseuses, He has a list of favorite female personnel to give him massage, behind closed doors. It was my job to keep everything discreet, so.
Would you say these girls were young?
You put me on the spot, sir.
This employee stated that many underage girls would come and go to this house, and he was responsible for managing them. These details were considered crucial for further investigations, but he didn't want to say more. Apparently, they were attracting this volume of underage girls without leaving a trace by forming networks. Because it is not possible to meet a 13 or 16-year-old girl in a bar or nightclub, they were much smarter and formed networks without leaving any trace of themselves.
Just because goes to old guy's house and just massage him for 45 minutes and you get $200.
New individuals were mainly convinced by their friends or relatives in a way that for introducing a new girl, the victim would receive $400 instead of $200, which was not a small amount for a teenager. The new victims thought they would only provide massages for some elderly men, but when they arrived at Epstein's Island house, they faced well-known and powerful individuals with demands beyond just a massage. Some people couldn't say anything due to fear, some didn't care at all, and some remained silent despite seeing complaints given the other girls and good pay. Finally, in 2006, the court issued an order to inspect the Palm Beach house in Epstein's Island. During this raid, numerous inappropriate images of models over the age of 18, including Victoria's Secret models, were discovered. A massage room and several computers without hard drives were found, but there was no evidence of the exploitation of underage girls. Epstein and his network were aware of this investigation days before it took place. When you have powerful and corrupt influential customers, they will protect you with all their might out of fear for their own positions. As the case expanded to national media, the files on Epstein were also open to the attorneys of Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and Florida prosecutor Alexander Acosta. With the influence of these individuals, Jeffrey received a mere 15-month sentence for admitting to soliciting sex from an underage girl. Of course, the extent to which we can call it a prison is debatable. He would leave the prison every day at 8 a.m. in a personal limousine, go to his office, and return to the prison at 10 p.m. to sleep. Eventually, due to good behavior, he was released after 13 months. After his release, Epstein focused more on his island, hoping to attract more famous individuals to visit. The list of individuals who have either used his private plane or visited his island is quite long. It includes politicians, Hollywood figures, writers, judges, police, FBI agents, and even the greatest physicist after Albert Einstein, Stephen Hawking. Although there is currently no evidence publicly available implicating these individuals in this illicit business, according to statements from some victims, they are not entirely innocent. For example, Stephen Hawking, who had limited mobility, only visited the island to witness some of these activities. With the rise to power of Donald Trump, everything quickly changed for Epstein. During Trump's presidency, opposition media outlets heavily pressured him regarding his connection to Jeffrey Epstein, eventually forcing him to reopen the case on Epstein's sex trafficking. In 2019, under the order of the FBI, all of Epstein's residences and his island were inspected once again. Thousands of photos, documents, emails, and terabytes of recorded videos of underage girls with island guests were discovered. Based on the evidence found and the testimony of dozens of Epstein's victims, the court sentenced him to life in prison. This event made him no different from a ticking time bomb for his powerful clients. On August 10, 2019, a highly suspicious incident occurred, and Epstein's lifeless body was found in his cell. Initially declared as suicide, the presence of signs of struggle, cellmate transfers, and the malfunctioning of security cameras that night indicate that there were people outside the prison who intended to permanently close this case. Nevertheless, a corrupt and depraved individual had been taken out of the picture, and there seemed to be no need for further investigation into the cause of his death. However, there are other horrifying details in this case that reveal a darker backdrop than meets the eye. It is alleged that there is a footprint of Mossad and Israel's involvement in Epstein's rise to power and the establishment of his heinous island. According to some confidential sources, Mossad, the Israeli intelligence agency, tasked Epstein, a Jewish individual, with recording sexual encounters of American politicians to infiltrate and exert pressure on them. The Daily Mail newspaper published 36 encounters of former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, the former defense minister and former head of Mossad, with Epstein during 2015, indicating these covert collaborations. In one photo, you can see Ehud Barak secretly entering Epstein's house in New York. So far, the construction of this video has revealed all the horrifying details behind Jeffrey Epstein, including these terrible aspects. However, the most bitter aspect of the whole ordeal, in my opinion, is the victimization of women by their own peers. A simple look at the names involved in this matter will easily reveal that these women were hunted, deceived, transported, and trained by other women. To prevent paying compensation to the victims, Epstein transferred all his wealth to an unknown individual 2 days before his death.